accursed man in the Quran gets a reward in hell every Monday? Why? Because of a moment of joy over the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him? You won't believe the strange truth hidden in this ancient story of a slave woman and a ruthless uncle. Hit play to uncover the secret of Abu Lahab and the power of love for the Prophet. She was poor, starving, and her animal was dying of drought. No one wanted the orphan baby she was offered, until she said yes. What happened next changed her life forever. Milk flowed, her land bloomed, and her barren camel was suddenly full. This is the incredible story of Halimah Sa'adiyah, the Prophet's foster mother. The story of the Prophet of Allah being nursed. For the first 6 or 7 days, Sayyidah Amina herself nursed the Prophet. After that, Thuwaybah, the slave woman of Abu Lahab, performed this service for a few days. Thuwaybah's fame. Although Thuwaybah had the honor of nursing the Prophet for only a few days, another incident granted this woman everlasting fame. It happened when the light of the two worlds, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was born. Thuwaybah hurried to her master Abu Lahab and gave him the good news that his brother Abdullah had a son. Abu Lahab was so happy that a reminder sign of his late brother was born that, pointing with his index finger, he told Thuwaybah, "Go, I set you free in this happiness." The matter came and went. 40 years later, when the light of the two worlds, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was honored with prophethood, and he declared the message, "La ilaha illa Allah, Muhammadun Rasulu Allah," there is no God but Allah, Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, shattering the gathering of disbelief and polytheism, that same uncle who had granted Thuwaybah the gift of freedom in the joy of the Prophet's birth, became his staunch opponent. His wife Jamil was even more hostile than her husband. Both formed a front against the Prophet, and spared no effort in hurting his feelings and causing him distress. Allah the Almighty became so wrathful that he revealed an entire surah chapter detailing the dreadful end of those two. Nevertheless, when Abu Lahab died approximately 1 year later, Hazrat Abbas saw him in a dream and asked him, "Ma haluk? What is your condition?" Abu Lahab replied, "My condition is bad. I am burning in hell. I have not received a single moment of ease, rest, since I died. However, one thing is true. I expressed happiness at the birth of my nephew and freed Thuwaybah. I have received this reward for it. That water flows between my thumb and forefinger every Monday, and I drink it. Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest." When Abu Lahab, a confirmed dweller of hell, received such a benefit for expressing momentary happiness at the milad birth of the Prophet Mustafa, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, that he gets water to drink even while living in the fire of hell, then just think, my respected readers, what rewards and favors will a believer and a monotheist receive if he celebrates the joys of Milad Mustafa, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, throughout his entire life? Hafiz Shams al-Din said a very worthwhile thing. When a tradition is reported about a disbeliever, whose condemnation was revealed in the Quran, whose hands were both doomed, and who will remain in hell forever, that his punishment is reduced every Monday only because he expressed joy at the birth of Ahmad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, then what do you think about the person who remained happy for his entire life at the coming of Ahmad, and whose end was upon monotheism? The search for a wet nurse. It is a common observation that the vocabulary and accents of several languages get mixed in urban dialects, because people from different regions keep coming to the cities for buying and selling life's necessities. Due to interaction and conversation with them, the language of city dwellers gets influenced by their speech and accent, and it loses the sweetness that is found in a pure language. Since the Arabs were very proud of their eloquence and rhetoric, they took extreme care to protect their language and made every effort to save it from outside contamination mixing. In this regard, the first step they would take was to send the child outside the city for upbringing, so that his language would remain safe from the mixing of outside words and accents. This was especially necessary in Makkah al-Mukarramah, because this blessed city was a center for people to gather. One caravan would leave, and two would arrive. These people were from different regions and had their own dialects and accents. Obviously, the language of a child growing up in such an environment could not remain unaffected by external influences. Therefore, the prominent and respectable people of Makkah al-Mukarramah used to send their children for nursing to the eloquent tribes living in the villages, so that correct and pure Arabic would become a part of their speech from the beginning, and its sweet accent would be absorbed into their conversation. In accordance with this custom, Abdul Muttalib also began searching for a village woman to nurse his grandson. Since the parents of the children would give the wet nurses a significant amount, women from the villages used to come to Makkah al-Mukarramah to get children. During the days when the light of the two worlds, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, was born, some women of the Banu Sa'd tribe set out for Makkah al-Mukarramah for this very purpose. One of these women was Halimah Sa'diyah. She is the fortunate woman who received the great honor of becoming the foster mother of the light of the two worlds, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. The delightful account of this blessed nursing period is presented here in her own words. The nursing story, in the words of Mother Halimah: a drought struck our region. There was nothing left to eat, so 10 women belonging to Banu Sa'd set out for Makkah al-Mukarramah in search of children for nursing. I was accompanying them along with my husband. We had a female camel and a white donkey for transport. Due to the drought, the camel's udders had dried up, and not a single drop of milk came out of them. The donkey had also become so thin and weak that it was barely walking. It kept falling behind, and the people of the caravan had to stop and wait for us repeatedly. Patience, forbearance, and good fortune, felicity. In any case, somehow we reached Makkah al-Mukarramah and started looking for children. My companion women found children, but by a strange chance I did not find any child despite my efforts. During this time, Abdul Muttalib came over and asked me, "Who are you?" "I am a woman of Banu Sa'd," I replied. "What is your name?" Abdul Muttalib asked. "Halimah," I told him. Hearing this, joy spread over Abdul Muttalib's face and he smiled and said, "Excellent! Excellent! Forbearance and good fortune are two qualities with which well-being throughout life and lasting honor are associated. Halimah, there is an orphan child in my house. I have spoken to the other women of Banu Sa'd about him, but because the father is not alive, no woman is willing to take him. They all say that they perform the service of nursing in the hope of receiving gifts and rewards from the child's parents. They do not expect any special favor from nursing a child whose father has passed away. Halimah, are you ready to take him? I hope he will be a source of good fortune for you." When Abdul Muttalib explained the entire situation, I said, "Please wait. I will ask my husband." So, I went to my husband and told him that I hadn't been able to find any other child, but there was an orphaned grandson of Abdul Muttalib. If he permitted, I would take him. I didn't like the idea that all the other women would return with children and I would go back empty-handed. My husband gladly permitted it, so I went back to Abdul Muttalib. He was sitting and waiting for me. When I informed him of my husband's agreement, he was delighted and took me with him towards Amina's house. Amina welcomed me and then took me to the room where the baby was. The charming and fragrant baby. The baby was wrapped in a very white woolen cloth and was peacefully asleep on a green silk sheet. Scents were rising from his body, and a lovely fragrance filled the air. I had never seen such a Haseen, beautiful, and lovely baby before. Fearing that he might wake up, I walked slowly and gently placed my hand on his chest. At that moment, he opened his eyes and smiled at me. Bright rays were shining from his luminous eyes. I eagerly leaned over him and kissed his forehead. Then I picked him up, held him to my chest, took permission from the household, and returned to my lodging. The just baby. Due to not getting good food during the drought, my milk had almost run out. My own son would cry and fuss from hunger all night long. He wouldn't sleep himself, nor would he let us sleep. But when I sat down to nurse Abdul Muttalib's grandson, an amazing amount of milk came down. After nursing him from one side, when I wanted to offer the other side, he turned his face away. It was as if he left the other side for his foster brother. This remained his routine throughout the entire nursing period. There was enough milk, and I nursed my son too, and he was satisfied and slept well. After gently laying both children down, we thought about filling our own stomachs. My husband went to the female camel, hoping that something might drip out from constant squeezing, but our astonishment was great when we saw that the camel's udders were completely full. So we milked a lot, and drank to our heart's content. That was the first night after the drought that we spent in complete comfort. After spending a comfortable night, when we woke up in the morning, my husband said, "Halimah, by Allah, you have brought a very blessed soul." I replied, "By God, I hope so too." The transformation of the mount. On the way back, when I mounted my ride with Amina's son pressed to my chest, the blessing of this auspicious baby had such an effect that the same ride which was unable to walk on the way there became so fast that it repeatedly left the caravan behind. Those people would say to me, "Halimah, Have mercy on us. Don't go so fast that we cannot keep up with you. My companion women would ask in amazement, Halimah, is this not the same ride that was so thin when we came that it couldn't even bear your weight, and you had to get off and walk repeatedly? When I would reply that it was the same ride, they would exclaim in wonder, By Allah! Its state is extraordinary now. The musk-scented baby. In this way the journey concluded safely, and when we arrived at our homes the air became so fragrant that there was no house in Banu Sa'd from which the scent of musk was not emanating. The descent of blessings. With the arrival of this blessed child, prosperity and comfort became common in my house. Our area was drought-stricken. There was no sign of grass or greenery, but when my goats returned from the desert in the evening, their stomachs were full of food, and their udders were full of milk, while the goats of the other people returned hungry, and there was not a drop of milk beneath them. The people of the tribe envied me and would say to their young men, You should also graze your goats where Halimah's goats graze. The young men would reply, We do graze them there. God knows why our goats remain hungry. In this state of joy, happiness, goodness and blessing, when 2 years passed while nursing him, I weaned him. The nursing story, in the words of Mother Halimah, is complete. But the journey is far from over. Stay with the light of beautiful Islam and make sure you're subscribed, because what happened next is one of the most pivotal moments in the entire Seerah. We're about to dive even deeper into the boundless love and radiant legacy of the Prophet of Mercy Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and share it with those you love. Join us in the next episode of The Life of the Messenger, where every moment is a step closer to understanding his beautiful guiding light. You won't want to miss it. The following narrative and historical accounts of the Prophet's life are meticulously compiled and referenced from the most renowned and foundational Arabic books of Seerah and Islamic history. 1. As-Seerah an-Nabawiyya by Ibn Hisham. 2. Al-Bidayah wa an-Nihayah by Ibn Kathir. 3. Dala'il an-Nubuwah by Al-Bayhaqi. 4. Ash-Shifa bi Ta'rif Huquq al-Mustafa by Qadi Iyad. 5. Tarikh al-Umam wal-Muluk, Tarikh al-Tabari by At-Tabari. 6. Manaqib al-Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal by Ibn al-Jawzi. 7. Jami'i al-Usul fi Ahadith al-Rasul by Ibn al-Athir. 8. Zad al-Ma'ad fi Hadi Khair al-Ibad by Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah. 9. Al-Kamil fi at-Tarikh by Ibn al-Athir. 10. As-Seerah an-Nabawiyya by Ibn Kathir, often compiled separately from Al-Bidayah.